C99 tutorial part 4. Before we continue, let's customize the command prompt a little bit. Notice when you start the command prompt, it's always starting in the same directory. This is called your home directory, and it depends on your username. On older Windows system, all home directories are under Documents and Settings. In newer Windows systems, they're all under a new folder called Users. Anyway, no matter what your users directory is, you can always go into one of the subdirectories called Desktop, and this will have all of your desktop files inside. Let's use the command prompt to make a different directory for our programming files. The command to do this from the command prompt is mkdir, M-K-D-I-R. After that, type in the name of the new directory. Let's do C:\projects. This tells the system that we want a directory in the root of the drive called projects. Next, let's move our current programs on the desktop into our projects directory. The command to do this is move, M-O-V-E. Next, we type the name of the files we want to move. However, rather than typing in all files, a better idea is to use what's called a shell pattern. A pattern allows us to match multiple files with only a few characters. So one of the most popular patterns is the star character. This means all files. And a more refined pattern would be star.c. Star.c would mean all files that end in .c. In other words, all of our C programming files. So let's move them into projects. Okay, now it's done. Now let's cd into projects. And now you can see the files have been moved into this directory. Let's make a chapter 1 directory. So mkdir chapter 1, and then move all of your C programs into the chapter 1 directory. This will help us keep them organized later. So this organization works fine, but one problem I have is that each time I start the command prompt, it will always start me in the home directory, and I'll always have to cd into the projects directory. What I like is that it will start me in the projects directory instead. We can accomplish this by customizing our command prompt. Find the command prompt in your Start menu. From the Start menu, you can drag items with your mouse. Start dragging the item with your mouse, and you can drag it onto your desktop. Sometimes you'll have to hold the Control key to make a copy of the shortcut. But when you drop it on your desktop, a copy of the command prompt will be made on your desktop. Let's give our custom version a new name. Let's call this one Programming. This will be our own command prompt for programming purposes. Right-click the icon and then choose Properties, and we'll customize the properties of our command prompt. Notice two of the items here. One of them is Target and one of them is Start In. Start In refers to where the command prompt starts when you start it. Notice something about the notation here. Rather than a directory name, they're using path variables to specify where the start directory actually is. Remember, we talked last time about the path variable, which specifies the search path. To find out what a variable means, use the command echo and then type the variable name. If you do this on home drive, we can see what it means. It means C:. Now how about the other one, home path? If you type this one in, then we see this is Documents and Settings /C99 tutorial. So basically the combination home drive, home path refers to your entire home directory, including the drive letter. The Windows developers did this to make it independent of what your actual home directory is. For example, if you have a different username or if you change to a different Windows version, then this environment variable scheme will still work. So anyway, let's change the start directory. Type in C:\projects. And notice as you type, Windows has an autocomplete feature, so you can just choose the directory. And now for this command prompt, our home directory, or our start directory, will be projects. One other thing you can customize is the help message that appears when you put your mouse over the command prompt. That's right here, and this might help us later if we have multiple copies of the command prompt. So let's give it a custom message for our own purposes. Projects for C99 tutorial. And now we're done, so press OK. So now let's close it and then start up our own custom command prompt. And when you do, notice it's been customized, the title has been changed, and the starting directory is now in C:\projects. One more customization we can do, click on the top left menu of your command prompt. And here, notice there's another item that says Properties. Click on Properties. This box shows you the command properties for this command window. Notice command history in the first screen. Let's change the buffer size to 100 and then click where it says Discard Old Duplicates. Next, go to the tab that says Font. Here you can change the font if you'd like. Next, go to Layout. Let's change the screen buffer size. This controls how many lines you can scroll with your scroll bar. I'll change it to 1000. Another thing you can do is change the height of the window. If you have a large screen, you might like a taller window than what you have. I'm just going to change mine to 33 lines. Finally, go to the Colors tab. From here you can change the appearance of your command prompt. For example, the background is typically black. Let's customize this and give the background a slight blue tinge. You can do that by changing the color setting here. Now when you're done, press OK. Notice when you press OK you have two choices. Apply the window properties to this window only, or to modify the shortcut that started this window. The shortcut that started this window refers to our programming shortcut that we made on the desktop. So press OK. That concludes customizing the command prompt. Now the next topic is standard input and output. If you recall from last time, we made the program far.c, which converts from Fahrenheit to Celsius temperatures. Let's go back to that program and look at it once more. And let's run the program, but whoops, the command is not here anymore. We need to compile it again, so let's compile it once more from the command prompt. One command here that will help us is the start command. When you type start, then you can type a file name afterwards. This is similar to double-clicking in Windows Explorer. When you double-click on a file, it opens the standard program for this file type. Another useful example is the command start and then period. In most file systems, a single period refers to the current directory, and the two periods together, ... refers to the previous directory. So let's use start with a period to open the current directory. When we do this, then an Explorer window will appear with this directory. So here it is. Now I see my chapter 1 directory with the 3 files here. From here you can change the view settings as you normally would. So now let's copy and paste the command to compile the program. So let's run the program again. Standard output refers to the normal output of your program. Normally it comes onto the screen and you see the output of the program. From the diagram it looks like this. We have some kind of input, we run the program, and then we get some output. So you might think standard output just refers to the screen. So one reason we call it standard output is because we have the ability to redirect it to somewhere else. So let's see how we can do that. Use the notation as follows. Type the command again as you normally would for running the program, and then at the end use the greater than sign and then give a file name. Let's give the file name results.txt. Now run the program again. It will look like nothing happened, but in fact we've redirected the output into that file. So look inside your directory now, and you'll see a new file, results.txt. And if you look in the file, the output of the program will be stored in that file. So that's called output redirection. We can also redirect the input of a program. So let's try that. The notation goes like this. Suppose we want the output to go to a certain file, but we want the input to come from a different file called infile.txt. So then run the program the same way, but then at the end we'll use less than infile.txt. Now try running it. Notice though the command will complain because it can't find infile.txt. We haven't made it yet. So let's make it. Let's go make a new file, call it infile.txt. It's a text file. So now open the file. Let's put in some input just to use as a test. So now we have the two files, infile.txt and results.txt. So run the program again, and then you can check the results. And the results will be the same. It turns out this program is not reading anything from standard input. In fact, the only input we gave this program is from the command line. So in the next video, we'll talk about how to use standard input in a program and how this works together with standard output.